Good morning. We're back on our meditation stuff. Last week was a bit of a blur. I apologize for anybody who wanted to stay consistent with the meditations. I wasn't able to show up. This morning I was just way too busy yesterday. Couldn't do the 1 a.m. meditation this morning. So we're gonna start back from today at 6, and I'm gonna try to see if I can do the 1 a.m. tomorrow as well, but I'll be very busy tomorrow morning from around 12 a.m. So depending on what I see, actually I think I should be able to do it. It's not a long meditation. So I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. and I had a meditation I did by myself. I think I was having some type of cognitive dissonance with doing my meditations here first. You see, before the first week, what I did was I woke up and then I opened this computer and the laptop and I did a meditation with you guys, and the act of having to stop at the beginning after our meditation is done and then close it and go and meditate again, it kind of threw me off. So what I decided to start doing is I'll wake up and I'll do my meditation first, and then we could do these meditations, guided meditations together, as opposed to me trying to sit down and do a meditation for myself and get into flow, but also make it in a way where we could do it together or guide each other. I have to remember that the goal of this is so that by creating inner stillness within self, we create the outward change within our immediate environment, which eventually, given that enough of us do it, over time, we will make change in the external reality. The will change. The vibrational frequency of the planet will start to shift ever so slightly. But the one person meditating and finding inner peace within themselves is transformational, not only for you but for the people around you and the people you interact with on a daily basis, because you give them that spark of divinity. It's like it's not you giving them, it's like the divine acting through you to say, yeah, just pass it along, and in whatever way that you want to do it. So I guess let's start our meditation with that. This morning I woke up with a bit of a shallow breath, so to combat is a funny word. So to get in line with it, we're gonna practice some breathing to expand our lungs. So I always diaphragm breathe. I like to. When you inhale, try not to let your shoulders or your chest puff out, but expand your stomach as if you are expanding your lungs down into your stomach. It might feel a bit uncomfortable at first. Most definitely it would feel uncomfortable at first because you're always so accustomed to raising our chest when we breathe and deep. But keep your back straight, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and just try to expand your stomach. Do that a few times. Oh. And on this one, when we breathe in, lock it, like allow the air to go into your stomach, your lungs to expand, and hold it. Now this part here is transformational for me. I can't say why, I just know it feels good to me. But you'll get lightheaded for sure for the first time you do it. So let's try it. Breathing in and you're locking it into your core. Not to tighten your core. You want your core loose. You want your body relaxed. You just want your stomach to expand with the air. Just felt like yawning when I did that, and it's relaxing to me. Let's do it again. On the lock in, when you do lock it in, there's a feeling almost as if you're blowing or sucking in just a little bit more air at the end, as if you were blowing a balloon, you know, that same feeling as, and you blow air into a balloon and it has this kind of delayed expansion effect. Alright, so next, you know what, instead of a meditation this morning, let's keep this as a practice this morning. So breathing practice was one of them. Our next one is a practice on awareness. Whenever you find yourself slipping throughout your day or going mindlessly, you know, doom scrolling is a big thing with people in today's society, including myself. I often find myself doom scrolling. I'd go onto social media to find inspiration for posts or things I want to get done or something, you know. How could I use it to benefit me? There's always a good in anything that could be potentially bad. There's potential good. I would I'd go onto it and I start scrolling and I'll even on the same niche I'm looking at, and eventually I'll just catch myself scrolling, and 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes later I might go, oh shit, damn. So I started using grayscale, which is literally transitions all of the color out of it. So in real time I'm noticing it's not as enticing anymore to continue scrolling. Right, so back onto what I was saying. Whenever you want to get yourself back into that zone of fully present, look at your peripherals, look straight ahead, but pay attention to your peripherals and bring your attention back to the center of your forehead right here. Not at the same time, it'll flow in the same way I said it. So if I'm just looking at something, I zone out and I try to pay attention to look at my peripherals, almost as if to see where I can see something. And in paying attention to my peripherals, I feel my awareness shift ever so slightly towards the center of my forehead. And then I shift my awareness to that. And I take a few deep breaths. Remember, breath is more than just an exchange of air and for oxygen in your body. With every breath you take, you shift your being, how you are presently. You shift your molecules, you shift the energy that you hold. So if you hold on to consciousness, in meditation, it's the same thing. Meditation is the act of listening to God, to the divine, to the all that is, to source. Prayer is the act of asking. To ask means that you're without. It's a form of lack, and it's not really the best way to communicate with God. I say God, but I like to say source. I should stop using the terminal. I should stop using terminology that I use to please others. Instead, just use the terminology I use for me. So, my favorite way to talk to source is just as casual friends. Talk to source as you talk to yourself if you love yourself deeply. Because it's within that self-love that you find expansion of the divine self. And it's within that there's a few challenges here. One of them being that finding self love is separation from the ego or aggrandizement of the ego. And in that separation part of the ego, not to say the ego is a bad thing, the ego is literally the personification of who you are in this life based off of all of your environmental structures that shaped you to be who you are. But in the absence or separation from that uh, present world personification of you, and you come into direct contact with source through self-love, because that's the only way to find source is the frequency of love. I think it's 432 hertz or something like that. And when you get into that space, a lot of people's new challenge here is that they want to stay here 24/7, just meditate, get lost in it, become nothing. And I won't lie, I have some similar issues with this, used to, because when you feel the ever expansive feeling of source, you don't want to come back to earth and this dense place, this feeling like a prison. You want freedom, and the most people who search for source and who understand, if you're here right now and you're understanding what I'm talking about, you're getting what I'm putting down, is that you already had a big urge, a push, a pull towards freedom in whatever sense you define that word. There's two things, in my opinion, every mystic or seeker, teacher of the esoteric needs. For it to happen, it's a strong magnetic center. Magnetic center is a place of inner questioning. Why does that happen? Very on the autistic kind of scale. why does this happen? Why does that happen? Who is this? Who is that? How is this? How did that happen? Asking critical questions to fill in gaps and not allow your brain to fill in the gaps for you, because your brain will try to do that to make a pattern when there's no pattern to be made, or in instances where the brain can't understand. So it likes to make up things, and you need to be aware of that. And the second one is that space of freedom. There's always a deep question of, well, what is freedom? Like, what does it mean to be free? I think I'm not cooking. I'm speaking directly to Sagittarius moons, placements, and Uranus in Aquarius people, which is an entire generation of people within my age group, freedom seekers, type of people who want to liberate, looking for liberty and humanitarianism. So disregard the freedom part, but I think that's been a big factor for me personally. Right, we were talking about connection to source. Right. So when you connect to source for the first time and you want to stay there indefinitely, and you come to a new realization, at least I did. You can't stay there. Your mission is here, to be present and enjoy life right now, because here's this really cool story, and I won't keep you much longer. I see it's almost approaching 15 minutes. A story I really like is, imagine you and I, as cosmic beings out in the ever expansiveness of space, and as cosmic beings we're hitting cosmic blunts, and I take like 5 puffs and I was like, oh, so good. I just had a hit, intense experience back in my body. the cosmic body, right? We're cosmic beings. And I say, here, you want this hit? And you look at me and you go, what does that do? And I say, catch this, right? You take a puff, and for a very short 100 years, you go down, you visualize, you have a vision of an entire storyline of a life with all these deep emotions, the full spectrum of emotions that one could possibly feel. You get access to feel all of it, and catch this too. In it, you get the opportunity to remember how big and strong you are as a being, because you are a cosmic being in this story, right? And as a character, you feel powerless. You start off feeling as powerless, and you grow into this thing where you have the opportunity to see and do every possible thing. And to a cosmic being who is infinite, you have to think of their perspective to understand how vast of an ordeal coming to Earth and experiencing a life is. To that cosmic being who experiences infinity, he is all-knowing. He does not experience emotions in the same way that we would, because well, I don't need to go into that right now, actually. And he is infinite in time. He or it wouldn't, you as a cosmic being wouldn't understand, or understand's the wrong word there, wouldn't be able to correlate. Is that relate? You wouldn't be able to relate to what a human life would be like until you experience it. I mean, you'd understand it, you'd know exactly the structure it takes to make it, but you won't experience the being through the entire life. So in this aspect, I think of human life as just the experience that we're just here for, and how wonderful even the strongest or biggest struggles we have is a gift, is something that you can't feel on any other dimension. The feeling of helplessness, or the feeling of I was helpless and I was able to overcome the struggles that I faced, and because of this, I was now able to teach others from the same steps I had to take, and just say, here, you know what, the path is not lit. I have a struggle and I'm walking the path, and as I'm walking not lit path, I'm lighting the lampposts along the path, and I'm allowing others to see that there is also a path here. Come take it. This goes into the discussion between a teacher and a wanderer, because a wanderer goes through the same paths as the teacher would, but he does not light any of the lampposts and show others, hey, there's a path here you could take. And I think for a long time I've been a wanderer, and I've masqueraded wanting to be a teacher, but I've not been lighting the lampposts along the way as I go along. And the hard parts in looking back, and maybe a bit of regret comes up, is that when you walk the path, you can't look back. And what that means to me, and how it means to me, is that when I try to remember the exact steps I took, because I didn't actually document or write it down, it's very hard to formulate it or put it together. I mean, I could definitely guide others, but to be able to create in space to show the exact thing that one had to go through to give you a template of how to follow through, it does not, is not as relatable. You see, to teach others, you need to be of that era. And what I mean by this is that you could have all of the knowledge, but you can't teach anybody if you can't allow the people to relate to you. If your student or your body that you're teaching can't find common ground to relate to you onto some subject, teaching becomes more of a lecture. It's not a teaching. Somebody needs to vibe with the teacher at some commonality to be taught properly, at least. Else, like I said, it's just a lecture. And perhaps maybe for some, this entire video today was just a lecture and not in any way helpful. But to those who found this video helpful, see you around tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. I know we didn't do any meditations today, but we did talk about two things: breath and awareness. And I urge you to practice both breath, the inhales, and lock it in, hold it. When you feel a bit anxious, allow it to just spread throughout your body like a warm feeling, and focus your vision on your peripherals. Bring your attention back to center and hold it. Any thoughts that come in, just gently guide it or push it to the side and allow yourself to stay within the present moment. And this simple practice of awareness is transformational. You've got this. I love you. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 a.m. Eastern or 6 a.m. Eastern, depending on how busy I am tomorrow morning.